We'll be live. Hi, everyone. How's my audio? Let me check myself. Seems to be good. Guys, make sure you like the stream. It's important that you like the stream right now. As you all know, the forces of illiberalism are spreading, and they're spreading globally, and we need to be the response. And you guys need to be the response. We here together. You guys need to help me be the antidote. We need to be the cure, all of us together. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of examples today of people spreading nonsense on social media, and they are popular. They are spreading. There seems to be a huge demand for all of this nonsense, and not enough of answer. I look at the answers people have to this nonsense, and I'm not satisfied. It's not good. Even people who are supporting liberalism and liberal values, they're not doing a very good job many times in having the proper responses. So this is what we're here to practice. Guys, make sure you like the stream, and also in the live chat, make sure you confirm that you have liked the stream so other people could see that you are liking the stream, so that they get motivated to do the same. And Dolly is here as well. Thank you so much, Dolly, for highlighting people's comments in the live chat. We want people's opinions to be part of this discussion. I mean, we're a republic for a reason, so that's how you could be part of the conversation. And also, if you're watching this in other places like Twitter, for example, make sure you come and watch this on Atheist Republic's YouTube channel. So Dolly is doing a lot of things. She's highlighting your comments, but she's also the one that has selected these videos for us to watch. She goes on TikTok and she finds these, and usually I'll look at the ones that have received the most amount of likes, and then I select those for you for us to review. She also is the one that edits these videos after. So thank you so much, Dolly, for everything that you're doing. So let's actually start with this first one. Let me see. I'm going to actually bring up the spreadsheet that Dolly has prepared for these things, so that, yeah. So that while I'm reviewing it, I also have her explanation on everything, because I want to understand, because I haven't pre-watched any of this. I want to do this with you guys. So this one got 742,000 likes. This is huge. And also the account associated with this is Your Favorite Guy. That's the name of the account. I will put the name of the account in the chat, so make sure that we give proper credit. Oh, sorry, Dolly is already doing it. To give you proper credit to anybody who we're reviewing. So if you guys want to go follow them or respond to them or leave a comment or see their other content, I always highlight their accounts, right? So this is a very famous account that is posting a lot of anti-Israel propaganda on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. The boy is very, very popular. I think a lot of you already know him, right? And this one, the explanation for this one is a boy urges boycott of Israel products using app to identify them. All right, let's just watch this through and through. How long is this video? It's 1 minute and 33 seconds. So we could just watch it from start to finish and then see how we want to respond to it. While we're watching it, you guys could also comment on the video, and Dolly will highlight your comments as we're watching this video. Okay, so let's see what he has to say.
Starting today, the boycott against Israel is changed forever. There's a new app called No Thanks. It's on iOS and Android, and it lets anybody, anywhere, scan the barcode of any product to see whether or not that product is on the boycott for Israel list. For example, it'll tell you whether or not that fruit you're trying to buy was grown in a legal settlement, or if the company that made the product you're buying is profiting off of the oppression of the Palestinians. This app is going to make the boycott against Israel accessible to nearly everybody, and it also makes it as easy as it can be. So what I'm going to do is I got to get some juice. I'm on vacation right now, so I'm going to walk down to the market. We're going to get some juice. I'm going to scan the juice and show you guys how it works. This walk is actually beautiful,
So we made it, and we're going to scan this Tropicana juice to see if it's on the boycott list or not.
And looks like it is. So we're going to have to find some different juice to get. They actually include proof to why the product's on the boycott list. It looks like this is part of SodaStream, an Israeli company. But let's see if this chocolate is on the boycott list. And it looks like it's not, and we're good. So if you don't want to spend your money on a genocide, download the app right now. If you don't want to send your money to companies profiting off of genocide, download the app right now. If you want to support and stand in solidarity with Palestinians, download the app right now. And if you know anybody, have any friends who stand with Palestine, send them this app too. Tell them to download it. And before you go, make sure you repost and copy the link on this video so more people hear about this app and more people share this app to others. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Okay. Do you guys know what the problem with this is? I went to make sure. I went and checked while I was watching this. As you know, I haven't pre-watched this, so I have to do my double checking, researching things online with you guys, live on air with you. Let me actually make sure that I don't say anything that is wrong. But I think some of you suspect what I'm about to say, right? Because how did this start? How did this video start? How did this video start? Do you guys know what I'm getting at? Like, who caught it? Dolly, did anybody caught the contradiction here in the video? Do you guys know what I'm about to say? Let me play the beginning of this video again, okay?
Starting today, the boycott against Israel is changed forever. There's a new app called No Thanks. It's on iOS and Android, and it lets...
I don't need to pray anything else. What did you guys hear that makes this whole thing? Yes. Just this the few. That's it. That's all you need to hear. I knew this, but I wanted to double check to make sure that you guys know. iOS and Android. Where are these things partly designed and made? Where are Apple phones and Android phones? Where are they designed? Where are they made? They're in Israel. Okay, so I don't know. So yeah, I have bad news for everybody who wants to boycott Israel. You would have to get rid of your phones. Yes, you would have to throw away the thing that you're holding right now that you're recording yourself. You would have to throw away that. In fact, you would have to throw away your computer as well. I mean, especially if it's using an Intel chip, you have to, the memory and storage, you have to check that a lot of the software that you have on your computers. You would have to go live in a cave, I think, given the level of, the chips, the storage units, the CPUs that you use in most of your devices. You guys know how important Israel is in the tech world? Do you know? Unlike the Hamas that you guys support, Israel is actually a country that contributes scientifically and technology-wise to the world. It's a country rich with entrepreneurs and a scientific community and businesses and startups. It's actually a productive country on this planet that actually does things. And you ungrateful pieces of crap actually are using it without knowing it. You want to not buy like a chocolate or like a piece of candy or some dates that you want to not buy them. Okay, well, do it all the way. Do it all the way and go live in a goddamn cave. Unbelievable. These people have no idea. In fact, they boycott companies that have not much to do with Israel because of something's happened somewhere. But they don't boycott actual companies that their lives depend on them. Like if they wanted to actually, because these people are selfish. This is nothing but virtue signaling. This is not about Palestinian people. This is about look at me, look at me. Because they will not boycott Israel for a second, if it would affect their lives. If it's like, oh, here's a piece of chocolate that is made of in Israel, and here's another one that is not. Okay, I could buy the other one that is not because it won't affect my lives. I still have a piece of chocolate. But if it affects their lives even a small amount, then they will not boycott it. Let alone just getting rid of their phones. Like, challenge these people. Tell them, like, okay, you're supporting Israel. by buying products that are made in Israel. Get rid of your phones. Get rid of your computers. Do it. I mean, you're an anarchist anyway. Go live in the cave. Unbelievable. Challenge them. Challenge these people to get rid of their phones. Let's continue with this. This is interesting.
Anybody, anywhere, scan the barcode of any product to see whether or not that.
Well, somebody download this app and use it on a phone. See, go to an Apple store, take a phone out, and scan it, and see if it will tell you not to buy. I mean, see if it will say that, because I just double check, right? It's so easy to research this. Yeah, parts of the Androids have been designed in Israel. Israel is known for its advanced technology sector, particularly in areas like telecommunications, semiconductors, and software development. Yeah, this is actually, a country that produces things rather than, producing terrorism. It produces things that the rest of the globe uses and benefits from. Many global technology companies, including those involved in the production and design of Android phones and Apple phones, have research and development centers in Israel. For example, Intel has facilities in Israel where they develop technologies that can be used in various devices, including Android and Apple phones. Other companies like, what is this? Oh, Qualcomm also have a presence in Israel and contribute to the design and manufacturing processes related to these technologies. Right? Yeah, basically, any technology, any like computer or phone that you use, there is something in it. As long as it has chips or software or anything, there is a part of it that is made in Israel or designed in Israel. So good luck with boycotting Israel. But another interesting thing about this is, let me actually go forward. I think a lot of you know what I'm about to say.
That product is on the boycott for Israel list. For example, it'll tell you whether or not that fruit you're trying to buy was grown in a legal settlement, or if the company that made the product you're buying is.
Okay, so it's not so fruit that you're buying is made in a legal settlement. That's not how it works, right? Because these people consider all of Israel. So when he says the fruit that you're buying is made in an illegal settlement, so what these apps do, they just tell you if it's from Israel, right? But a lot of you, when you hear illegal settlements, you think, oh, West Bank. No. They're not talking about West Bank. They're talking about the entirety of Israel. And the interesting thing is that a lot of these fruits that you're boycotting are grown by Arabs and Muslims living in Israel. So good job in basically taking away the livelihood of Israeli Arabs and Muslims. This is the problem when you want to do a generalization, when you want to condemn something rather than looking at who did what and whether there's evidence for it, and condemning a specific institution or a person for something that they did wrong. When you want to condemn an entirety of a country, right? This is what happens. When you want to act like it's the entirety of Israel that is evil and then act accordingly, then you are punishing people who have nothing to do with anything. You're punishing farmers. You're punishing farmers of a country that has provided the best life and rights and freedoms to Arabs and Muslims. So you look at all the Arab and Muslim countries out there, you look at their rights and freedoms, and you pick basically the one country that provides them with the best life, with the best freedoms, with the best rights, and you're like, okay, let's punish them. Let's make that country, make the lives of the Arabs or Muslims living in that country worse. So do you understand that you are on the baddie side? You're on the evil side of this equation. Israel treats its Muslims and its Arabs better than any other Arab or any Arab or Muslim country, and that's how Israel treats Muslims and Arabs. And you are punishing everybody, including them, in that country for things that they have nothing to do with. So when it comes to defending people Who's on the right side here? You're on the side of evil. You're making people's lives worse. Israel is making the lives of their people and people worldwide better. Look at that. Look at what their contribution. Look at their contribution to their own citizens, including their Arabs and Muslims, and look at your contribution to the world. You're harming the world. They're making the world better, and you are doing that, and you have the audacity to come and act like you're on the good side. You're hurting people both on the Israeli side and the Palestinian side. People should be crying for Palestinians because you are their advocates. You're making their case worse. But this is not about them. This is not about Palestinians. This is not even about Israel. This is about you. This is about, look how good of a person I am, while doing something that is so evil, so disgusting, and so destructive. Anyways, I think I had enough of this guy. Let me actually play their whole video.
Profiting off of the oppression of the Palestinians. This app is going to make the boycott against Israel accessible to nearly everybody. And it also makes it as easy as it can be. So what I'm going to do is I got to get some juice. I'm on vacation right now. So I'm going to walk down to the market. We're going to get some juice. I'm going to scan the juice and show you guys how it works. This walk is actually beautiful, bro. So we made it, and we're going to scan this Tropicana juice to see if it's on the boycott list or not. And looks like it is. So we're going to have to find some different juice to get.
Does it explain? Okay, open proof. I want to download this app and check it and see what proof the usage is. And then also, guys, somebody use this app, go to an Apple store or a Samsung store and use it on their phones and see if that works as well.
Actually include proof to why the product's on the boycott list. It looks like this is part of SodaStream. And
you know what this boy is doing? He's actually confirming Zionism. You know, this is validating Zionism. The reason why these people are demonizing Israel is defending itself, and it gets demonized by people all around the world for doing what every country would have done, every country should have done, if it's attacked in the way it was attacked on October 7th. And it's actually doing it better than most other countries. Almost that actually Israel is doing that better than every other country when it comes to taking the steps to try to reduce civilian casualties. So Israel is being demonized for defending itself and defending its border integrity, and it's defending the security of its citizens. This shows that there is nothing Israel could ever do that will not make it demonized, that will not make it hated. And this hatred, the double standard that exists for Israel, can only be explained by the fact that there's so many Jews in Israel. Israel is a majority Jewish country. Again, and all of this goes to confirm that why we need Israel, given the level of hatred that exists around the world against Jewish people. Every time you see something like this, remember, this confirms Zionism. This is why we need Israel.
Israeli company. But let's see if this chocolate is.
Oh, people are saying, are we still monetized? Let me check. Yeah, we're still monetized. Bizarrely. We got a super chat. I will read that soon. But yeah, we're still monetized. Thank you guys for checking that. And also, guys, make sure you like the stream because it's important for more people to see the stream.
On the boycott list, and it looks like it's not, and we're good. So if you don't want to spend your money on a genocide, download the app right now. If you don't want to send your money to companies,
you could download the app to buy the things, actually. Guys, if you support Israel, download the app and maybe like focus on stuff that is made in Israel. You know, just use that app to support Israeli made products. How about that?
Companies profiting off of genocide, download the app right now. If you want to support and stand in solidarity with Palestinians, download the app right now. And if you know anybody, have any friends who stand with Palestine, send them this app too. Tell them to.
You guys don't stand with Palestine. You stand with yourself. Okay? It's accurate for you to describe yourself as anti-Israeli. I would accept that label, but don't call yourself pro-Palestine. You guys are anti-Israel and anti-Palestine. You're using the suffering of Palestinian people for yourself. You're using it to become visible. You're using it to act like you're virtuous. you're not pro-Palestinian. You're anti-Israel and anti-Palestine.
Download it. And before you go, make sure you repost and copy the link on this video so more people hear about this app and more people share this app to others. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Yeah. We did get a super chat from a Jewish pirate. Thank you, sir, for the $10 Canadian dollar super chat. Appreciate that. All right, let's go to the next video. What is this one? Let me actually put it on the screen. What is actually, yeah, let me see. This is video. I want to make sure I get the name of the account correctly. So this is video number 9 on my list. Let me get the name of the account. I'm going to put the name of the account on the live chat so you guys know. Yeah, thank you, Dolly, for highlighting them. So I'm just going to watch this all the way through without saying anything to see how do we respond to this.
And I'm from Israel. I'm a model. If you know, you know. Hey, don't touch!
Free Palestine.
This video is absolutely hilarious, from the way that the guy slyly gets the mic that she won't give to him, and then her and her friend's hilarious reaction to hearing the words Free Palestine, where they are clearly about to burst into a tirade of talking about why Palestinians don't deserve freedom. It's also so indicative of how Israeli propaganda works, because the words Free Palestine for Israeli people and Zionists are somehow connotated with the destruction of the State of Israel and the removal of Jewish people, when in reality what Palestinians are talking about is freedom from oppression from the Zionist settler colonial apartheid regime. But if you don't want to believe me, Palestinians, organizations like Amnesty, B'Tselem, over 700 academics and thousands more most likely that say this, then take it from an Israeli minister himself, who just yesterday was talking about how Jewish people should be preferenced over Palestinians in their right to movement.
הזכות שלי, של אשתי, של הילדים שלי, להסתובב בכבישי יהודה ושומרון, יותר חשוב מזכות התנועה של הערבים. סליחה מוחמד, אבל זו המציאות, זו האמת, זכות החיים שלי קודמת לזכות התנועה.
This is exactly what apartheid is, a preferential treatment of one race over the other. To claim that Palestinians are seeking to destroy the state of Israel or that they hate Jewish people and saying Free Palestine is inappropriate is completely farcical.
I honestly can't believe that a video like this works. I really can't believe how easy it is to spread such nonsense. All right, let's go through this one by one. So let me actually see how many views. I just want to tell you how easy it is. Let me see how much views it is. This video got 9 million views. 9 million views. And what was the 2 pieces of information that he used for us to convince us about the conclusion? Let's see what this. Let's look at the pieces of information that he gave us and the conclusion that he came to, and how easy it is. He just had to find one girl somewhere for a few seconds responding with a shock reaction to somebody somewhere, and he just ran with it. And he just basically created an entire narrative based on a few seconds of reaction, a clip video reaction of just a girl just opening her mouth. And let's look at the how many seconds did it take? Hold on, let's see.
And I'm from Israel. I'm a model. If you know, you know. Hey, don't touch!
Free Palestine.
So how many seconds? That was 8 seconds of video, right? We're talking about a young girl somewhere talking and being shocked by somebody, and that is enough to demonize Israel as an apartheid state, and people of people who don't know, who are afraid of Palestinians, who don't want Palestinian freedoms. Just a video. This is what I'm talking about. Look at the level of hatred that exists for Israel. That this video, as if I can't go in. First of all, I'll tell you her reaction wasn't even bad, but let's say it was bad, right? Because I will tell you what people hear when they hear Free Palestine. He addresses it with that and acts like it's not justified. It's completely justified. He's speaking for Palestinian people, but he doesn't understand many Palestinian people. He thinks he understands. He speaks on their behalf. But let's for a second assume that that girl's reaction was unjustified and over the top, even though it was 8 seconds and it was completely clipped and we don't even know what happened after. And he acts like he knows what happened after. He says it without showing it. But let's say that girl was like, I don't know, a loony, like an Israeli person that was like idiotic and had a stupid reaction. Based on these standards, every country is apartheid. Every country is apartheid. You're looking at a young girl having been, it looks like in the middle of a party. I don't know if they're drunk or I don't know what's happening there, right? You know that I could find this everywhere. Look, let me tell you the double standard. They have to go find something like this to show how evil Israelis are. Do you know if I apply the standard to Palestinians, if I go with a microphone, I have gone actually with a microphone in Palestine and I interviewed people, right? I have been there, right? But I've been in the West Bank. I haven't been to Gaza, especially if you go to Gaza. And you know the videos that we have from people mentioning their opinions about Israel and Israelis and Jewish people coming out of Gaza? Do you understand, based on your standard, we should never be supporting Palestine? I mean, I want to support Palestine. I want Palestine to be a country. I want Palestinian people to be able to, at some point, have their own country and be able to have the right to determine their own destiny and have control over their politicians and everything. That's what I want for them. You don't want that for them. You're just anti-Israeli. But if we apply the standards to the Palestinians, then are you going to show us a video of that, of what a random Palestinian is going to say about Israel if we went and interviewed them in Gaza? What an average Palestinian would say? No, you're not going to do that, because then you're going to look like you're supporting the side of evil. I wouldn't say that, but based on your standard, that's how it would apply to the entirety of Palestine. But again, this standard, I could go in the United States. I could find somebody that says something like 8 seconds. You have 8 seconds. I could find people in the United States. I could find people in Bangladesh. I could find people in Iran. I could find people in Egypt. I could find people in Indonesia. I could find people in every country on the planet that would not give you 8 seconds of a reaction to something that shouldn't be like that extreme to 8 hours. I could give you, from every country on the planet, I could get you somebody rambling for 8 hours about how an entire group of people need to be wiped out. So what? Are you going to demonize that entire country because of that person? I mean, this girl's reaction wasn't even bad. But what does this prove against Israel? Look at this 8 seconds and also look at his conclusion.
And I'm from Israel. I'm a model. If you know, you know. Hey, don't touch.
Free Palestine.
This video.
I mean, I used to go clubbing when I was younger. I saw girls react to, like, I've seen so many reactions like that to the most mundane things. I was like, what is that? Okay, so let's see his conclusion.
It is absolutely hilarious, from the way that the guy slyly gets the mic that she won't give to him, and then her and her friend
gets the mic that she won't give to him. She was talking in it. She was using the mic. Look how, what the hell? What is up with you guys? What are you talking about? Hold on. I didn't even notice that part. She's using the mic. This is the entirety of the situation of Israel and Palestine summarized in a few seconds. She's using the mic. That guy comes and takes it by force and interrupts her. And he says that she's not letting him use the mic. This is, what the hell? Look at this.
I'm from Israel. I'm a model. If you know, you know. Hey, don't touch.
Free Palestine.
This video is absolutely hilarious, from the way that the guy slyly gets the mic that she won't give to him, and then her and her friend's hilarious reaction to hearing the words Free Palestine, where they are clearly about to burst into a tirade of...
Oh yeah, clearly about to. Without you showing us that video, you just cut it. Or like, you're just going to make up the parts, the rest of it. You're going to make up the gap, the parts that you're not going to show us. Yeah, let's just assume that the rest of it is, because what you showed us is not insane enough for us to be able to demonize these people, let's just make up a story and make them look more evil or stupid than they are.
Of talking about why Palestinians don't deserve freedom. It's also
Oh yeah. See, look at this. Free Palestine. We know what Free Palestine means. Free Palestine. If Free Palestine meant that Palestinian people deserve freedom, yeah, we would agree with that. That's why we should fight Hamas. In fact, fighting Hamas is a long plan in the direction of freeing Palestinians at some point. Okay? We need to free Palestine from Hamas. But that's not what Free Palestine means. Free Palestine does not mean free Palestine. We have seen what Free Palestine means. We have seen that Free Palestine, for a lot of people, means genocide on Jewish people and every other Israeli, actually, including the Arabs and Muslims. That's what Free Palestine means. Free Palestine, Palestine means wiping off Israel off the map and invading that entire land and basically killing every single Israeli citizen that you could find in the meantime. That's what Free Palestine means to a lot of people. That's why people have such a shock reaction to Free Palestine. That's why a lot of people consider when you say Free Palestine that you're basically suggesting a genocide. But if Free Palestine actually meant Free Palestine, that would not be their reaction. That would not be a justified reaction. But here's what, look at the straw manning here. Look at how he basically attributes such malice to the people without actually having any proof for it. He's saying Palestinians don't deserve freedom. So he's saying that they, after the part that I caught, that I'm not showing you, they had a tirade, and the argument was these girls, these young people, these Israelis, at that point went on to, in his imaginary world, argue the fact that no, Palestinian people don't deserve freedom. Again, when you don't have any videos or any evidence that Israelis are evil, you just have to make up stories and your audience will just believe it. You got 9 million views again on this video. 9 million views with, again, let me see, 700,000 likes. 700,000 likes this video got.
About why Palestinians don't deserve freedom. It's also so indicative of how Israeli propaganda works, because the words Free Palestine for Israeli people and Zionists are somehow connotated with the destruction of the state of Israel.
Somehow. So if you are saying that, don't say that the argument is that Palestinian people don't deserve freedom. So look how he contradicts himself. He first says that people have this reaction to Free Palestine because they don't want freedom for Palestinians. But then he says here, because he notices how idiotic his claim is, that he says something that he thinks makes what he said earlier less idiotic, but it actually makes it more idiotic because it contradicts his previous claim. So people, when they hear Free Palestine, what they hear, and is correct for them to hear, is destroy Israel, wipe out Israel. That's what Free Palestine means in their mind.
And the removal of Jewish people, when in reality, what Palestinians are talking about is freedom from oppression from the Zionist settler colonial apartheid regime.
Yeah. And they want that, a lot of them want that by destroying Israel. And they don't want anything short of that. How do you not know this? How do you not know? You must know this. You act like you are saying this is what Palestinian people say and want. Have you talked to a lot of them? Have you seen the polls? Have you seen the opinion, the academic studies and the scientifically collected data on their opinions? Have you seen that? Because, sir, freedom from oppression in their mind comes when every single Jewish person or every single Israeli, depending on the Palestinian you talk to, again, not all, hashtag not all, that's how it's achieved. In fact, not only you haven't looked at polls, not only you haven't talked to many of these Palestinians, you haven't even looked at history. Because you know how I know that? Because the Palestinian people were offered their freedom. They were offered their freedom not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, but many, 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 many times they were offered their freedom. They were offered their country. They were offered a land for them to govern. And they said no. Do you know why they said no? Because they could not accept Israel existing as a Jewish state, as a state where Jewish people could go to and have freedom. They said they were willing to sacrifice having a country as long as it means that they could fight Israel existing as a country. So when you say free Palestine, we have seen throughout the history of Israel and Palestine what that means. Because if you think that free Palestine means that we get to have a country and Israel gets to have a country and they will live in freedom and we will live in freedom, we have seen that they have rejected that time and time and time again. And they said, not as long as Israel exists. So that's why we know what free Palestine means. Free Palestine means that Israel should not get to exist. Free Palestine means that we have to have the opportunity to kill as many Jews as we want. That's what free Palestine means. We have seen that that's what it means. They have never accepted any existence of Jewish people between the river and the sea, even if they get 1%. So a lot of people think that it's unfair how much land we were given to the Palestinians, or like they argue over the details. But when they do that, they miss the point. They miss the point that even if it was 1% to the Jews and 99% to the Arabs, they would have still fought. They would have never accepted any presence of a Jewish land or a Jewish state that is for Jewish people. Israel existing at all was the issue. It wasn't about how fair it is or how unfair it is. It's about, no, this is Islamic land or this is Arab land. Again, depends on your ideological brand of your Palestinian activism, freedom fighter, so-called freedom fighter. It's either about race or religion, but whether it's about race or it's about religion, they all have something in common, and that's hatred towards the Jews and the desire to wipe them out. That's what they share in common. But let's listen to the rest of this.
But if you don't want to believe me, Palestinians, organizations,
I do believe Palestinians, sir. You don't believe Palestinians. They have been telling, many of them, again, hashtag not all, they have been telling us what they want, and they want to wipe out Israel. That's what they want. Maybe you, sir, actually should listen to the Palestinians, and maybe, sir, you should start believing them.
Organizations like Amnesty.
No, I don't believe organizations like Amnesty. I have studied reports by Amnesty International, and they are liars. They are biased. They misrepresent. They hide facts. They are biased in the, even when they do report facts, they leave out important parts on purpose. Have you studied? Sir, when you talk about Amnesty, do you actually just go read the conclusion and think they're telling the truth because you are so anti-Israel that, of course, if a report says something that confirms your already existing beliefs, then you would believe them? Or did you actually go look at these reports and fact check what they're saying? Because Amnesty International is also the same organization that consider Israel to be apartheid. And if you actually go look at Israel, look at what the meaning of apartheid is and the situation of Israel, you will understand that there's no way anybody could consider Israel to be apartheid. It's insane. It's an insane accusation that Amnesty International just puts out there without any facts to back it up. So, yes, sir, I do not believe Amnesty International, but let's continue.
B'Tselem, over 700 academics and thousands more, most.
Oh, 700 academics. Which ones? Again, it's not about, it's the reports and the methodology of the reports that you should be studying, not just what I can, because you have 700 academics that it says that. I have 700 other academics that say the exact opposite. If your standard for what makes something true is that you could find 700 academics, then I guess two opposing truth claims have to be true at the same time. And that is a logical impossibility, sir, because if your criteria for what's true is used, then contradictory claims would have to be true at the same time. And that is not possible based on basic logical axioms, actually. Yeah, this is
likely.
Yeah. And again, the academia, we have to understand, this is why you guys need to study methodologies and biases that exist and fundings rather than saying academics have said so. Because if you think academics saying something proves anything, then everything could be true. Because academics also believe that Muhammad cut the moon in half. I could find you 700 academics easy that believe Muhammad cut the moon in half. Doesn't make it true, right? So it's not about the people saying something. It's about the methodology of the study that has been taking place. That's what matters, right? So there's that.
That say this, then take it from an Israeli minister himself, who just yesterday was talking about how Jewish people should be preferenced over Palestinians in their right to movement.
You know what I'm going to say here, right? So this is going to get a little bit more advanced. He went from a random Israeli girl at the party just opening her mouth in shock and attributing that to the entirety of Israel, to now becoming a little bit more sophisticated and finding a fascistic far-right politician in Israel and using him as a way to demonize the entirety of Israel. I have news for you, sir. Every country has those. Every country has those. And if that shows that Israel is evil, then every country in the world is evil. You think United States doesn't have politicians like that? You don't think Canada has politicians like that? You think France doesn't have politicians like that? Do you know that Israel is such a liberal and democratic country with checks and balances and enough liberal-minded people that the greatest sources of opposition to such politicians comes from within Israel itself? Why would you highlight such a horrible politician in Israel and not highlight the fact that it is Israelis themselves that are standing up to politicians like this? Why wouldn't you highlight how amazing of a job Israel's media is doing? Israel's media is very self-critical of its own country. Israel's media, go look at the rich resources and information that all of the Israel's media have leaked out for us. Like, a lot of the criticism that we have for Israel comes from the great work of journalists that happens from Israel itself. A lot of the things that we accuse Netanyahu or Ben Gvir or any other politician in Israel, we accuse them of that because we have verifiable information thanks to Israeli journalists. This is a country, unlike many other Islamic or Arab countries, and unlike Hamas, unlike what's happening in the West Bank or in Gaza, that it has checks and balances, that people are held responsible. People's complaints, people's challenges against the government forces them to take one action over another. Unlike when Hamas, that can get away with actually using its own people as human shield, people in Israel, when they're upset with their prime minister or their other politicians, what that happens is that they can force their hand. They could change what they do. This is what a democracy does. This is why we support Israel. Because we support Israel because Ben Gvir, as evil as he is, as fascistic as he is, as racist as he is, Israel is a country where Israeli people can do something about it. Israeli people can stand up against it. Israeli people can have an effect. Now, many times, just like any other democratic countries, sometimes we don't like where the results of the democratic process goes. But the main thing that we care about is the fact that the democratic process exists. And also the liberal values and the liberal structure, not just the democratic structure, but the liberal structure that many Israelis are trying to defend. This same person, here's why I love Israel and why I think Israel should be defended. Because the liberal foundations of this country that people like Ben Gvir is trying to challenge, and Israeli people were in the streets in the largest mass protests in Israel. Israeli people were in the streets challenging people like this guy that you're about to show, trying to defend their country's liberalism. But let's see what this guy has to say.
הזכות שלי, של אשתי, של...
So this guy say, my rights and my wife, oh, here. My right, my wife and my children's rights
הילדים שלי, להסתובב בכבישי
to drive on the roads of Judea and Samaria, the West Bank,
יהודה ושומרון, יותר
is more important than the Arabs' rights to freedom of movement.
חשוב מזכות התנועה של הערבים, סליחה
Sorry, Muhammad,
מוחמד, אבל זו
but that's the reality, that's the truth.
המציאות, זו האמת, זכות החיים.
My right to life takes priority over your right to movement. Well, actually, I mean, I had the things that he said before are wrong, but this part is not wrong. Anyone's right to life is more important than anyone else's right to movement, I would say. Yes.
שלי קודמת לזכות
השר בן גביר.
This is exact.
Yeah, so if he's talking about my right to movement is more important than your right, my right to movement as a Jewish person is more important than your right to movement than an Arab, that's racist and disgusting and fascistic, and this guy should be condemned for saying stuff like that, right? But if he says my right to life is more important than your right to movement, again, I'm not going to nitpick. That guy is evil. That's right. That guy is a fascist wannabe. But let's look at what he says here next, because this is the problematic part. Okay, so this is the wrong conclusion that he takes from this.
What apartheid is, a preferential treatment.
No. See, this is what you don't understand. He's saying this is what apartheid is. Okay, first of all, if he's talking about the West Bank, that is not even Israel. Apartheid means having two-tier citizenship. People in the West Bank are not citizens of Israel for you to even be able to. This is why you don't understand. You don't understand what apartheid is. Okay, so that is nonsense. And also, you have to understand the difference between people with problematic views and what eventually gets written down and enforced as policy. Every country has people with problematic views in their politics, but what we judge a country is what gets executed, what gets put down as a law, and what is enforced as a law. That's how we judge a country. Because in fact, if you have politicians with problematic views and that doesn't get translated to problematic decisions, that actually shows the strength of the democracy and the liberalism of that country. That you have checks, that you have a wall between what a politician thinks and what a politician can do. That's how you judge a country. And again, there are criticisms for Israel here, but not in the way that this person is suggesting, because this person says, this is a politician that says something, and now you want to judge the entirety of the country by. What you have to see is what actually gets enforced, what actually gets put down as a law, and what gets enforced. And if you want to call Israel an apartheid, you have to understand that every single citizen of Israel, whether Arab or Jew or anything else, they enjoy equal rights. Do we have racist people in Israel? Yes, we have racist people in every country. Do Arabs experience sometimes racism in Israel? Yes, Arabs experience racism in any country, almost any country that they're a minority. But just like United States is not apartheid, even though black people feel racism sometimes in the United States, but we don't have any laws against black people in the United States. Israel is not apartheid, because if you are an Arab citizen of Israel, you have every single right and every single freedom as every other citizen of that country. That makes you not an apartheid.
This is exactly what apartheid is, a preferential treatment of one race over the other.
No, a preferential treatment of one race over another as citizens of your country. So these are many problems with what they say. First of all, they are not even the preferential treatment of Jews versus Arabs. It's not even being enforced by Israel as within their laws. So I don't know what you're talking about. In fact, Israel seems to be caring more about Arabs and Muslims than the state of Hamas in Gaza, because they are doing way more than Hamas has ever done to protect even non-citizen Arab Israelis. So I don't know. The Palestinian people will be lucky for their statesmen to care about them as much as Israel cares about them. That's how bad they are being treated. So even when it comes to Arabs who are not their citizens, Israel treats them better than their own state. That's one. Two, They are not even that's not even apartheid, even if they were doing that, because that's a different. Those are people who are not citizens of Israel. If you want to see if Israel is apartheid or not, look how Jews and Arabs are being treated when they're citizens of Israel.
To claim that Palestinians are seeking to destroy the state of Israel or that they hate Jewish people and saying free Palestine is inappropriate is completely farcical.
Well, they are saying that. They are saying that. I mean, what are you talking about? There's videos of it. They teach that in their kindergarten, in their schools in Gaza. I mean, have you not? How could you just come and say nonsense? It's on their media. It's on their TV. It's in their school curriculum that they want to wipe out every single Jew, that they want to kill them. It's in their charter. It's in their charter of the state that people in Gaza elected to govern them has in their charter that they want to wipe out the entirety of Israel and also kill Jews. It's in their charter. Like, how could you just come and say something is farcical and get 700,000 likes and 9 million views? Like, how easy is it to spread hatred against Jews and Israel with baseless accusations? Why do these people have so much power? This guy just made a video saying stuff that is absolutely not true. 1 minute video, 1.5 minute video, and 9 million people just watched it and believe these things. Like, why is it so easy? Why is it so hard to clean up this mess? And it's so easy to spread it. Let's look at the super chat. Thank you so much for the cat lady with the 15 shekels, saying there's a channel. What is this? Corey Girl Shutter American. Okay, that's the name of it. Talks about the Palestinian and Israel's on streets. Oh yes, I know. Oh, Corey, yes, I know him. I talked to him. I love that guy. Yes. You should go. Yeah, if you want to figure out people's opinions, I think if you're talking about the same person I'm thinking of, I love that guy. Unless I'm confusing somebody with another. But that guy goes, and if you want to see what people's opinions on the ground is, go check out that channel. And thank you for the super chat. Let's do one more video. Let's do this one. So what is this? Let me actually go. What this is video number 4. So given that this is number 4, I'm going to go get the name of this account. So I give, see guys, we do things properly here. We give credit. We don't just like review the video. We actually go and find the account that posted this video just to make sure we give credit where credit is due, right? So on the video, this says crowds. So actually, let me read the explanation that Dolly has provided. This is protesters rally after Yale students arrest. So let me look at the text on the video, saying crowds cheer for the 47 students at Yale who were arrested earlier today and loaded into university shuttles to be transported to jail after they refused to end their Gaza. This is very small encampment. Okay, sorry, I'm having a hard time reading that. It's very small for me on the screen. Anyways, let's watch the video and then we'll go through it one by one. Okay, so I haven't pre-watched these, so I had to go check something really quickly to make sure that I don't speak any falsehoods. and you can confirm this with me if you want or not. Tell me in the live chat. I just checked. Yale University is a private Ivy League research university. So this is a private university, right? Because when you want to judge these protests, a lot of people on both sides just come up with a judgment on whether the arrest is justified or whether arrest is done in the proper way based on the tribe that they belong to, right? So if you want to judge these protests and judge the arrests, you have to separate these questions, and you also have to understand the context at which this is happening and the action. So you can't just come up with a random judgment for the entire thing all at the same time. These things, I know it's cringe to say, but it's a little bit more complicated and more nuanced than that, right? So there's the judgment on the protest, whether the protest is justified, then whether the protest is claiming the right thing. So that's the two. So doing the protest, whether it's justified, whether the protest is claiming something that is correct or not, that's a second thing. Where the arrest is justified, arresting these protesters is justified, that's a third thing, separate from the first other two. Fourth, whether the arrest was done in a proper way. Okay, these are four separate things that require four different judgments, and each one of them depends on the context and needs to be evaluated separately. But people act like these four are the same, and people also act like when they come up with a judgment on one arrest or one protest in one place, they could attribute that to the other ones as well, right? So first of all, these people, they are doing this in a private university. Let me know if I'm wrong. I just checked. Yale is private, right? Did they have permit to do the protest? So when it comes to freedom of speech claims, when you're doing this in a private university, if you say my arrest means that you violated my freedom of speech, then you have no idea what freedom of speech is about, right? Even in the public universities, the arrest could be justified given how the protests were done. Because even in a public university, you need permit to do it's not that you cannot do a protest. If these students would have been justified, so for example, in the public universities, some of them were arrested for many different reasons. So they didn't have no permits. There were a lot of anti-Semitic chants which violated the university's rules. There were violence. There were people coming out from outside the university that were not the student, that were not the staff, people that violated the university's rules. So if, for example, you filed for a permit and the university denied you a permit and then you did a protest anyway, then maybe your protest will be justified because you deserve the permit, right? But a lot of these protests are violating. They didn't even ask for a permit. They just did it anyways. So you having been given a means to do protests and not doing it properly or not doing it in a way that aligns with the university's rules and regulations, if they then come crack down on you, that doesn't mean your freedom of speech has been violated, because they had provided you with a way to protest, because you have a right to protest. But just because you have the right to protest doesn't mean that you have the right to protest in any way. There are ways that you could use that right that violates both legal rules or university's policies or that university's campus rules. Every university has the right to enforce its rules, and that does not violate your freedom of speech, especially in a university that is private. Especially given that we have credible reports that the Islamic Republic of Iran is using universities as a way to spread radicalism in the United States among students. Every university has to be concerned about that. We have seen what has came out of academia when radical forces have had access to the students and been able to spread their propaganda. I mean, may I remind you that some of the greatest terrorists in the Islamic world came out of American universities. So we have a history, including Osama bin Laden. So we have a history of concern, like that gives us, that should make the universities, it's a university's responsibility to take care of its students and to make sure that it fights against sources of radicalism and spreading of propaganda by Islamic regimes and terrorist groups on it in its campus. Again, that does not mean that every single one of these arrests is justified. I'm pretty sure the level of arrests and the level of protests are so high that you could be guaranteed that you will find examples of police doing things that should be condemned, that should be questioned. But here's the thing: these ungrateful students, many of them, live in a country where they could file legal complaints. So here's the thing: a lot of the people on the other side think that all of these arrests were unjustified. That's nonsense. But some people on my side also think that all the arrests are justified. We don't know that. We should wait for some of these students or some of the staff to file a legal complaint and for that to be investigated. I'm pretty sure there will be some examples of police doing something that was wrong, or the university doing something that was wrong. But what you have to acknowledge as a citizen or a resident of the United States, that you live in a country that even if you protest and your right was violated in a way that it shouldn't have been, you have legal courses. You could actually file a complaint. You could take this to court. If a police arrests you and that arrest was unwarranted, or that arrest was done in a way that was not justified, if they used too much force or if they mistreated you, that is not the end of the story. You live in the United States. You don't live in Gaza. That is only the beginning of the story. That police, there's going to be a lot of back and forth. All of this is recorded. All of this is in camera. And you will have justice. It will either come as, the police was completely justified. You had no right to do that at that point in time, especially if the university is a private university. Or it will come as like, maybe the police had the right to arrest you, but they used too much force. And now, the court will deem it so. This is how an advanced liberal democratic country operates. But again, remember that when you want to, for people on the other side who think that all of these students should just be allowed to do as much as protest that they want, you show these videos. You don't show the videos that a lot of these protests were targeting Jews, attacking Jews with anti-Semitic chants. And every time you mention that, they mention that some of the protesters were Jewish. There are many Jewish people that are protesting against Israel. That doesn't work in your favor. That doesn't mean anything. The fact that we had attacks on Jewish students, there were Jewish students that were locked in by these protesters in a room, not just because they were Jewish. And when you show that, they're like, oh yeah, but there were also some Jewish students that were protesting, so that didn't happen. They're like, oh, these chants and these protesters are not anti-Semitic because we have some Jewish students. How does that contradict the other? You could have both of these at the same time. I will give you an extreme example. Not that I would say that the situation is comparable, but just to show you the point. And if this example is extreme on purpose, right? In the concentration camps in Auschwitz, we had Jewish people monitoring and maintaining order in the concentration camps at Auschwitz. When the Jews were being lined up to go to those towards the showers to their eventual execution, there were many Jewish people with batons just enforcing the entire thing. Right? So based on these people's standard, just because we have Jewish students protesting, and that will make this whole thing not anti-Semitic, then Auschwitz was not anti-Semitic because we had Jewish people helping the Nazis enforcing that whole thing. I know this standard does not apply. And look at the police, the way they're enforcing this. I've seen a lot of the videos that come out of this and showing us that how brutal the police were. And it looks brutal, but it looks actually very professional. Because sometimes it's brutal because you see somebody's body being moved around. But if you actually pay attention, nobody gets injured. There is not even a nosebleed. There's not a scar. There's not any enforcement of like any force being put upon, like any hitting or any slapping or nothing. It's just that they move the body and that looks very aggressive. But there is no scars. There is no hitting. There's no punching. There's nothing. There's no injuries. If you actually look at the standard that American police has when it comes to how to handle protesters, it's extremely more professional than many other countries. The way they handle protesters. If you look at the violence that is coming out of these campuses, it's done by the protesters. The police is not committing any violence. And again, I'm pretty sure at some point you are going to find, we have a lot of recordings, one place somewhere that did something wrong. And they will jump on that to actually act like this entirety of how this was done was wrong. And again, these protesters are not doing any favors for Palestine. They are, what they're doing is that, don't look at what they're doing, is look at me, look at me. This is a look at me moment. This is oh, Palestinian people are dying and suffering. This is a good opportunity for me to act like I'm virtuous, like I'm good. That's what's happening here. This is these people's motivations. They are not doing anything in favor of, like, look at what they're asking for. They're asking for their universities to stop, funding Israel or working with their country, as if the money, they don't understand that Israel is so many different institutions, so many different companies, so many different organizations and people. And they want to not work with them because of the IDF doing something. Like, this is not going to change anything. This is not going to defund the IDF. You're just going to hurt some small business or some academic work in Israel. Some of the best thing that comes, even if you're against Israel's military operations, if you had any level of fairness, you would see that Israel produces so many good things, and one of the greatest contribution of Israel to the world is its academia. So you don't have to be this black and white. You could, even if you're against IDF, which I'm not, but if you are, you could be like, okay, IDF, I don't like IDF, but Israel, this is the good thing about Israel. Israel's academia is top in the world. It's one of the top sources of academic studies and knowledge that has been gifted to the world comes out of Israel. You could celebrate that while being against IDF. But guess what? When you are protesting these universities to stop working with Israel, you're punishing the academic part of Israel, not the IDF part of Israel. You're punishing the academia of Israel. You're punishing the technology of Israel. You're punishing the small business part of Israel. You're not punishing IDF. So you're not helping anything. You're not contributing anything. Even if your intentions were to help Palestinians, which I highly doubt that, you're not doing that. You're making their lives worse. And here's another interesting thing. If Israel suffers economically, Palestinians suffer economically, both in safety-wise and their own personal well-being, both their economy. Palestinians' economy, their own personal economy of Palestinian individuals is highly correlated to the economic activity of Israel, because both the Gaza and the West Bank, the trade that they do and the money that they make is with Israel. The more economically active Israel is, the better the lives of Palestinians are. So by punishing Israel, so it's not just the Arabs and Muslims of Israel that you're punishing by punishing Israel economically, you're also punishing the Palestinians. You don't understand any of this. You don't understand who suffers because of what you do. You think you're defenders of Palestinian, you're a curse upon Palestinian people. Also, the richer Israel is, the more military capability it will have to reduce collateral damage. And you don't understand that. You don't understand part of the reason where Israel is able to reduce civilian casualties is because of the advancement in the weaponry it has. And if it didn't have that, more Palestinians will die. So you want to make Israel suffer economically? That would mean more Palestinian death. You don't understand any of this. And yet you go and as part of the students in one of the top universities in the world, you have such a high level of influence and you use that force for bad, for evil, for causing more misery in the world. And after doing all of that, you come out and act like you are righteous, like you're the side of good. Anyways, we got 2 super chats here. Oh, let me do this one first. We got $3 from Flick. Well, thank you so much for the super sticker. And we got 5 euros from Great Red Menace saying, is there any difference between students in South denying Black people entering universities and these protesters doing the same to Jews? It's civil rights. Yeah, I wouldn't say that all of them are denying. Like, I wouldn't say. Here's the thing: I want to judge individual case by case situation, right? So I don't want to act like all these protesters are anti-Jewish. Some of these people are hurting like both Jewish and Arabs without knowing it, without actually intending to be anti-Jewish. But there are a lot of anti-Jewish elements within these protests, right? There are a lot of them that do go and try to cause harm to Jewish people and try to accuse them, demonize them. And yes, I've seen them limit their movements or locking them in. I haven't seen any of the protesters denying Jews entry to the university, so I haven't seen that. But yeah, so if you've seen that, I haven't seen that yet. I will try to do some more digging. But again, this video that we watched is amazing. That video, let me tell you, that video got more than 1 million likes. And how many views did it get? I wonder. Unbelievable. Okay, so I don't know how many views it got. Yeah, oh, yeah, 10 million views. That video got 10 million views. It's amazing that the video that went viral was one in a private university. Basically, when it comes to the university having the right to call the police and basically stop the protest, if it comes to a private university, then there's out of a question that this does not violate your freedom of speech. In fact, if you think that the students should be able to protest without the university being able to stop the protest, this is a violation of the university's freedom of speech. Your freedom of speech doesn't entitle you to every single platform and every single audience that you want. Your freedom of speech that means that you get to say things, you get to express yourself, as long as you don't violate other people's rights and freedom, right? If this is my land, if this is my house, if you come to my house and say something that I don't want or behave in a way that I don't want, I could kick you out. This is my private property. I'm allowed to kick you out. I have not violated your free speech. You're conducting yourself in a manner that I do not want on my private property. You can go do that and say that somewhere else. Me telling you not on my private property does not violate your freedom of speech. Oh, Reincarnation Entertainment, thank you so much for the 10-pound super chat saying, do you think Harris Sultan was right to go with Trump right wing? I think Trump is the greater evil, not lesser. Well, I would talk about specific policies of Trump, whether they're correct or not. But regarding of going with Trump or not, given that Atheist Republic is a 501c, we cannot comment on that on this channel here because that's the rule. We follow the rules. Atheist Republic is a 501c in the United States, and a 501c in the United States is not able to tell you is not allowed to tell you whether a politician should be, you should support a specific American politician or not, right? But what I can do is, because this channel has a habit of commenting on the news, so it would be in line with what this channel does. We can basically, if Trump does something that I think was correct, I could say that that specific thing was correct, and if he does something that I'm like that was incorrect, I could say that specific thing is incorrect. But a general statement, whether on Trump to go with him or against him, that I cannot do that on this channel, on Atheist Republic. See, we follow the rules. We follow the law here in this channel. Okay. So there's that. Okay. Guys, make sure you like the stream. I think we did good. I think we did good together here. Would you guys agree that this was a very productive stream? I think we covered a whole bunch of stuff. Like, these videos give us the opportunity to comment on a lot of things. Guys, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching, 600 people are watching us right now, but 390 of them are on Twitter. So make sure, guys, if you're watching this on anywhere else, come to Atheist Republic YouTube channel and subscribe to us. Just go on YouTube, search for Atheist Republic, because that way you could also be part of the live chat, and subscribe and hit the bell notification, because that's the only way how you would know when the next time we're going live. So subscribe and hit the bell notification. Leave a like after the show is over. Leave a comment under the show. That really, really helps. And also, thank you for all the super chats. Let me actually see if we're still monetized. Are we still? We're probably not monetized. What? Guys, we're still monetized. We're an hour and 15 minutes into the show. What happened today? I said so many naughty things. I even said Auschwitz, and we're still monetized. This is a miracle. Yeah, no way. Yeah, guys, today I don't know how it works anymore, because sometimes we don't, like, sometimes we just start the show, we haven't said anything, and we get demonetized. Today I said all these naughty words and we're still monetized. Very impressive. Unbelievable. Let me actually show you guys. Look, we're monetized. It's green. Okay. Well, that's good. Thank you, YouTube. We've been such a good boy. Okay, guys. So, like, boys and girls, actually. So, guys, make sure like the stream, leave a comment, subscribe, bell notification, all of that. And till next stream, I'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.